the assumption that the people that they're interacting with don't see the world in the same way that they do. You're routinely exposed to people who come from different cultures and who have very different assumptions about gender roles, about family, about work, about appropriate behavior in different situations. And what people will tell me is they'll say, you know, you always want to hold back a little bit. You don't want to talk to someone and say, yeah, 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 so we agree on yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there's a very high probability that you'll say, no, no, that's not the way I understand that to be. And one of the things that I think is quite remarkable in the area is a kind of questioning attitude. People are willing to ask questions and not assume that they know answers to things. Not everybody, but a very high percentage of people, because they have been in so many situations where they have encountered so many different kinds of diversity in one setting that they feel they have to suspend judgment before they really, in effect, say what they're thinking. And in the past, I think people certainly in that area, they would just steamroll ahead. They would just assume that everyone shared the same view of the world. And increasingly, I think you find people who don't look at the world that way. And it's why I've also talked to people, really fascinating conversations with people from some other countries who have businesses in other countries, but they have their head offices, if you will, in Silicon Valley, because they say there's a kind of work that you can do in Silicon Valley that I can't do back home. It's too homogeneous back home. It's much more diverse here. And as one guy said, you know, I've got a Palestinian and an Israeli working together on a project. And they've had discussions about how if they were back home, they wouldn't be in the same room working on this particular problem. And yet there's something about being here that they feel that they can work together because they're surrounded by a bunch of other people who are doing the same thing. So I think that diversity is really important, not because it brings a bunch of different ideas as much as it makes you cautious. It makes you humble about your own certainty about things.